Is Goal a straight-laced football sim or the wobbly backstreet cousin who insists every cross should detour like a homing pigeon? Rhetorical question, self-dragging answer, a bit of both, obviously. Released in 1993, the year Sensible Software's Stick Men still ruled the terraces, and Electronic Arts was busy learning how to pronounce Magellan for FIFA International Soccer. Dino Dini's Goal marched onto DOS, Amiga, and Atari ST with a swagger that said, "I can bend it before Beckham was old enough to borrow the family Ford Fiesta." Underpromoted? Yup, oversold. Only if you count the 60,000 copies Virgin shifted on day one, a figure that made my local indie shop owner briefly believe he could retire to Marbella. Fundamental to the genre's DNA? Perhaps not, yet if you cut modern indie darling sociable soccer open, you'll find a tiny spinning pixel ball that answers to Dino. So yes, this is both cult cornerstone and glorious oddity, and it dribbles straight through your nostalgia filters like a banana shot fired from a 3.5-inch floppy. Historical context, picture the early 90s PC scene. Sound cards whirred like espresso machines. VGA gradients blinded unsuspecting CRT owners, and British developers were waging a subtler battle than any FA Cup replay. Kickoff versus Sensible. Dino Dini, the joystick alchemist behind 1989's Kickoff and its monster hit sequel, had just executed the game industry equivalent of a Bosman transfer, leaving Anko for Virgin Games after a contract dispute worthy of back-page tabloid venom. Virgin, flush from adventures with Aladdin and The Lion King on Mega Drive, wanted a prestige footy brand for home computers. Dini wanted complete control of his physics engine, his aftertouch fetish, and the marketing check. Thus, Dino Dini's Goal was born. Note the possessive apostrophe flexing harder than a Serie A star kissing the badge. In arcades, I was still pumping 50-pence pieces into super sidekicks. All neon boots and 8-direction passes. Yet the bedroom scene cared about simulation, not spectacle. Kickoff 2 fans craved the feeling of a frictionless sphere that could slither off your instep like a bar of soap in a prison shower. Sensible soccer evangelists demanded zoom-out clarity and quickfire 1-2s. Meanwhile, Goal tried to court both camps. Prettier sprites, an optional horizontal camera, shock, tournament-ready league tables, and that unmistakable Dini ball physics that screamed, "Master me" or "Uninstall." FIFA wouldn't cannonball onto the Mega Drive until the tail end of '93. On microcomputers, its isometric pitch was still a magazine sneak peek. That gave Goal a few glorious months as the snob's choice. Sophisticated enough for tactics nerds, hectic enough for mates sharing a competition pro joystick and elbow space. Virgin positioned it as the true sequel to Kickoff 2, a sly dig at Anko's impending Kickoff 3 reboot. Review quotes trumpeted new AI routines and elastic dribble control, but the marketing masterstroke was emphasizing multiple camera views, a novelty so magnetic magazines splashed screenshots of the exact same tackle from 2 angles like it was the Zapruder film. And for a hot minute, that worked. Amiga format readers voted it into their top 10 pre-orders. ST format ran comparison charts between Goal and Sensible, complete with speedometer icons. For a 14-year-old me, already baptized in the Church of Aftertouch, this felt like the next canonical chapter, the Empire Strikes Back of tiny sprite football. Mechanics booting Goal. Today, DOSBox loads a title screen hopeful enough to slap its own signature in glowing cursive. Dino Dini presents. The menu is pure 90s minimalism, cyan text on navy background, jaunty fanfare looping like a carnival whistle, yet dig 2 clicks deeper and the options blossom like a Panini sticker album spilled across the carpet. Want international squads? Sure. Prefer club lineups you can reshuffle player by player? Be my guest. Desperate to repaint Liverpool's strip because the default kit mistakenly pairs United's white shorts with cop red jerseys? Absolutely. Go wild. Rhetorical follow-up, did I once spend an entire Saturday editing kit colors instead of revising algebra? Self-owning answer, of course. The kit editor was the Football Manager database before Football Manager grew a GUI. Then there's the arcade challenge, an endurance gauntlet against 5 CPU teams scaling from Sunday League sloths to Hummingbird Fast elites. Win and your goal difference multiplies in a dopamine maths equation. Lose and the game turfs you back to the main menu like a pub landlord shouting closing time. time. This challenge remains the quickest way to learn goal's love-hate controls. The ball never glues to the boot. Instead, it behaves like a Newtonian moon caught in low orbit. Tap pass and it skims ahead. Nudge joystick left mid-flight and it swerves. Aftertouch so exaggerated you expect NASA telemetry readouts. Older kickoff veterans call it banana logic. Newbies call it, why can't I score from the penalty spot? The pitch scrolls smoothly, but never forgets its 50 Hz heritage. Sprites darting with pinball urgency. Tackling demands pixel-perfect shoulder nudges. Mistime one, and your defender cartwheels into advertising hoardings marked Adidas in blocky VGA stencil, a product placement that felt impossibly glamorous to a kid whose school boots were Gola knockoffs. The absurd thread that stitches every session together is the banana kick, that physics-defying piece of code Dini treated like sacred text. I still remember the first time a pal, smug on player 1 joystick, whipped a 90-degree swerve from the corner flag straight into my top left netting. We reset, I tried the same trick, forgot to compensate for wind resistance, or lack thereof, and sent the ball boomeranging behind the goal. Cue laughter loud enough to make my sister threaten unplugging the power strip. That single mechanic, the promise that any shot could be Michel Platini in mini-clip form, becomes the gravitational center of goal. You'll talk yourself into one more match at 2 a.m. just to nail that perfect curve. Camera-wise, the vertical view replicates kickoff's classic up-pitch scroll, while the horizontal perspective turns the field sideways, forcing your brain to relearn geometry, like playing chess rotated 45 degrees. Critics called it disorienting, but for sibling rivalries it became the nuclear option. Whoever lost the coin toss demanded the unfamiliar camera to level the playing field, then immediately regretted it when their keeper sprinted off screen. Off the pitch, squad management is absurdly granular for a floppy disk sports title. Formations flip between sweeper systems and gung-ho 2-3-5 relics. You can sub 2 players mid-match, factoring stamina modeled by a simple stamina bar that drains faster if you turbo sprint. Injuries linger match to match, implements the new FIFA back pass rule. Goalkeepers can't cheekily pick up a deliberate pass, and even lets you tweak wind and pitch slickness. Because why shouldn't your Wednesday night league feel like a windswept Scottish Premiership rainstorm? The only glaring omission is a cup tournament, sacrificed to development deadlines according to Amiga Review's gossip column, and still mourned by completionist statisticians who need bracket diagrams to sleep at night. Sound is equal parts charm and cheese. A crowd murmur that resembles gusty static, muffled referee whistles, and a goal net thunk so crunchy you'll want to sample it for vaporwave tracks. The scoreboard pops up miniature replays, less Sky Sports, more Flipbook, but those frames are enough to boast about banana goals in slow motion. And yes, 2-player mode means hot seat bragging rights. If you owned only one joystick, someone had to share the keyboard, which turned gentle friendly fixtures into scramble finger twister. Confession, I still have Softspike's imprints on my Z's key. Legacy and influence. Commercially, goal punched above its weight. 60,000 units in 24 hours would be eye-watering for an indie dev even today. Yet historian spreadsheets label it a cult hit rather than mainstream juggernaut. Sensible Soccer retained magazine cover dominance thanks to its intuitive one-button pass-shoot scheme, and within 12 months, EA's isometric FIFA 94 would descend like a polygonal Death Star, complete with official licenses. By 1995, many casual fans used FIFA to test new Pentiums, leaving Goal to the hardcore joystick jockeys who adored its slippery physics. But examine the subculture and you'll find Goal is the Rosetta Stone linking kickoff heritage to present-day indie revivals. Dini's later Kickstarter attempt Kickoff Revival name-dropped Goal as spiritual blueprint. John Heir's Sociable Soccer borrowed the fast-tempo passing lines. Even modern mobile hit Retro Goal winks at aftertouch by tilting finger swipes. Meanwhile, the horizontal camera concept, heretical in '93, presaged the dynamic broadcast cams FIFA now toggles with a thumbstick flick. And the exhaustive editor, that's the grandmother of every fantasy draft mode cluttering today's menu screens. Why did Goal stay niche? Partly the learning curve. Aftertouch demands muscle memory more than modern twin-stick shooters. New players bounce off the physics like a mistimed slide tackle. Partly the aesthetic. Those larger sprites looked handsome on a 14-inch CRT. RT. But by the Windows 95 era, they felt chunky versus Sensible's minimalist clarity. And partly timing, Virgin's marketing muscle shifted to console tie-ins. The PC version never saw a data disk update, leaving missing cup competitions and kit inaccuracies frozen in DOS Amber, yet the community kept the flame. West German forums traded hex-edited kits, while Amiga fans compiled unofficial cup patches. I still have a dusty ADF where my custom Pizza Cup Italia 94 bracket lives on like an archaeological anomaly. The absurd banana kick endures in gamer folklore. Type Dino Dini banana shot into YouTube and watch compilations of joystick footage set to Eurodance tracks, each curve triggering chat rooms to spam emojis. Nothing ruins nostalgia quicker than Cyberfruit, but I digress. Younger streamers treat the mechanic as a Dark Souls parry. Obtuse, punishing, mystical. Meanwhile, the horizontal camera's ability to subvert muscle memory became a party game drinking rule. Concede a goal in sideways view, do a shot, irony intended. Critical retrospectives remain split. Some decry the zigzag dribble exploit that lets a player slalom through AI defenders if you hold diagonals just right. Others praise the endearing purity of a one-button interface that still supports depth through invisible physics. Computer gaming world's 1994 write-up hedged bets. Animation merely okay, but kickoff fans will definitely enjoy. 3 decades on, that ambivalence crystallizes into cult reverence. Goal is the vinyl record in a Spotify era. Impractical, scratch-prone, miraculous when the needle hits the groove. Closing paragraph plus score. So where does that leave Dino Dini's floppy disk monument? Somewhere between overlooked heirloom and cautionary banana peel, spinning forever on a patch of VGA grass. Boot it today and you might curse the slippery dribble, the wind tunnel crowd noise, the absent cup bracket, or you might, like me, grin the moment a 20-yard curler arcs around 3 defenders and nestles in pixel netting as the scoreboard buzzes triumphantly. Rhetorical kicker, is there any purer hit of nostalgia than wrestling a 1993 joystick dead zone to produce a bending shot Argentinian free kick legends would envy? Self-answer, not unless you can digitize the smell of fresh panini stickers. Goal remains a game of frantic halves, of finger-calloused glory, of banana shot majesty, docket for hit-and-miss AI and the missing knockout cup, but award bonus points for intoxicating physics sorcery that no AAA license has dared replicate. My final whistle? 7.8 out of 10. A curving line drive of a score for a curving line drive of a game, forever bending expectations even as it sails past the post and into cult classic folklore.